This is our third session. Let's start exploring the Blender graphical user interface. Launch Blender 4.5.2. When the splash screen appears, click anywhere to dismiss it. Step 1. What is user interface? Before we dive in, think of how an artist works. Before painting, they arrange all tools, brushes on one shelf, paints and colors on others, so everything is ready. Similarly, in a workshop, a mechanic arranges tools, spanners on one shelf, nuts and bolts on another, diagnostic tools on another, before beginning work. This organized workspace is what we call the user interface. Blender also has thousands of tools, and they're grouped into shelves or compartments called panels. Step 2. Explore 5 default segments of Blender UI. On first launch, the screen is divided into 5 segments. Segment 1, on top, is the menu bar. You'll see the Blender logo, File, Edit, Render, Window, and Help. Segment 2, in the center, is the large viewport. This is the stage or world where you build the scene. In the viewport, you will place your camera, your light or lamp, and your objects, and compose everything here. Segment 3, right, is the outliner. It lists every object in your scene. By default, you will see camera, cube, and lamp listed in the outliner. Segment 4, bottom, is the Properties panel. Click in an empty area to deselect everything. In the Properties panel, the tabs appear in this order: Tool, Render, Output, View Layer, Scene, World, Collection, Object, Physics, Constraint, and Data. Use these tabs to adjust all properties, parameters, and values for your scene and objects. Segment 5, bottom, is the timeline. We will explore this in detail during the animation section. Now, let's begin examining each segment in detail, starting with the top menu bar. Step 3. Explore the Blender icon menu. In the top bar menu, click the Blender logo. Choose Splash Screen to reopen it, click anywhere outside to close it. Click About Blender to see the Blender version and related details. Install Application Template is available here. We'll cover this later. Under System, reload scripts to reload all scripts. Memory Statistics briefly shows usage at the top left. Debug menu and Redraw Timer are available for diagnostics. Clean up space data, you'll see a brief Amount Removed message. Clean up operator presets to remove unused operator presets. Step 4. Explore File menu. Open the File menu. New, Control-N, create a general file or start from templates like 2D animation, sculpting, VFX, or video editing. Open and Open Recent, load existing or recently used files. Revert, return the current file to its last saved state. Recover, if Blender crashes, use Recover Last Session or Recover Autosave. Save, Save As, and Save a Copy are available. Incremental save, keep version files, for example, Blender_1, Blender_2, Blender_3. You can increment regularly, such as every few minutes. Link and append bring data from other docblend files. Example, model a sofa in one file, TV in another, table in another, kitchen in another, then link or append those objects into a new scene. Use link or append to migrate objects or data between files. Data previews, we'll discuss this later when relevant. Import, bring in models from other tools or formats. Alembic, USD, Apple's format, SVG, OBJ, STL, FBX, Collada, Motion Capture, GLTF. Export, send Blender data out to other formats, same families as above. Export all collections, export all current collections at once. External data, pack resources to embed external textures and assets into the .blend. Unpack resources to extract them again. Unpack linked libraries if you used link or append. Make paths relative or absolute to control file path storage. Report missing files and find missing files to fix broken asset paths. Clean up, purge unused data, or manage unused data to free memory. Defaults: save startup file to store your current layout and preferences as the default. Load factory settings to reset Blender to its first launch state. Example, making screencast keys persistent as your default. Press N to open the right side panel. Notice screencast keys may be off. Go to Edit, Preferences, Extensions. Find screencast keys. Open View Details and enable on startup. Return to the 3D viewport, press N, Screencast Keys panel. Enable it, set mouse to 60, font size to 30, line thickness to 3. Go to File, Defaults, Save Startup File, and confirm Overwrite. Close Blender, no need to save the current .blend. Relaunch Blender, screencast keys will be on by default. If anything goes wrong later, use File, Defaults, Load Factory Settings to restore the first launch state. These are the options under the Blender logo and the File menu in the top bar. Step 5. Explore Edit menu. Press N to close the right side panel. To explore Edit menu, let us perform a few actions in our Blender viewport. Select the cube in the viewport. Press X, then Delete to remove it. Press Shift-A to open Add, Mesh, Torus. Go to View, Viewpoint, Top, or press numpad 7 to switch to top view. Duplicate the torus. Press Shift-D, then press X to constrain to the X-axis and move it to the right. After every action, a panel appears at bottom right to edit your last action. In the Adjust Last Operation panel, bottom left pop-up, set Move X to 1.4. Open Edit, Undo to undo the last action. Use Ctrl-Z, Undo, repeatedly to undo duplication, creation, and deletion as needed. Use Ctrl-Shift-Z, Redo, to redo those steps: deletion, torus creation, duplication. Now, to access the full list of all actions performed by us, we use Undo History. Open Edit, Undo History to view all steps performed. Now let us perform some more actions to record in our history. Press R, then X, type 90, press Enter to rotate the selected torus by 90 degrees around X. Press Shift-D, X, set distance to 1.4 to duplicate along X. Press R, X, 90, Enter again to rotate the new copy. Hold middle mouse button and drag to orbit the view and inspect from all angles. Open Edit, Undo History again to see each stage: Original, Select, Delete, Add Torus, Duplicate, Rotate, etc. Adjusting the last operation. Select Torus.003 in the viewport or outliner. Press Shift-D to duplicate. Immediately press X, then drag the mouse to move the duplicate along the X-axis. In the bottom left Adjust Last Operation panel, set Move X equals 1.4. Deselect the torus. Click Empty Space or press Alt-A, then reselect it. Now the last Adjust panel is gone. To readjust after the panel is gone, go to Edit, Adjust Last Operation, or press F9. Change Move X from 1.4 to 1.8 or back to 1.4 and confirm. Repeating actions. Select an object, press RX90 Enter to rotate 90 degrees. Use Edit, Repeat Last, or Shift-R to repeat the last action, another 90-degree rotation, or Shift-R to repeat the last action, another 90-degree rotation. Press Shift-D, X, move 1.4 units, then use Shift-R to repeat that exact last action again, creates another duplicate with the same transform.
Here, to create chain structure, we need two actions to be repeated. Let us see how we can do it. Select the additional torus created and press Delete on keyboard to delete it one by one.
Till only 4 tori remain. Select the fourth torus. Press Shift-D, X, move 1.4 units, duplicate. Then press R, X, 90, Enter to rotate. Open Edit, Repeat History, and choose Duplicate Object to repeat the duplication step. Open Edit, Repeat History again, and choose Rotate to repeat the rotation step. Repeat the 2 repeat history picks, duplicate, then rotate as needed to extend the chain. Finding commands with menu search. Switch to the Cursor tool and click somewhere in the viewport to set the cursor there. To return the cursor to the center but you've forgotten the command, open Edit, Menu Search, or press F3 and type Cursor to World Origin. Confirm the 3D cursor snaps back to the center. Renaming objects. If the last torus is named torus.006, open Edit, Rename Active Item, type chain_06 and press Enter. To rename many at once, box select all tori or press A, open Edit, Batch Rename. In Name, set Find, Torus, and replace Chain, then click OK. Verify all selected objects are renamed from torus to chain. Lock Object Modes appears in Edit. We'll cover this later in context. Preferences will be handled in a separate session. You've now explored all the key items in the Edit menu: Undo, Redo, and History, Adjust Last Operation, Repeat Last and History, Menu Search, and Rename and Batch Rename.
Step 6. Render Menu. Now let us explore the Render menu. Before we go into it, remember, in Blender, whatever view you are seeing, it is always through the camera. By default, you can find a camera already present in the outliner. If you want to switch to the camera's perspective, go to View, Viewpoint, Camera, or simply press numpad 0. This is the image that the camera sees. When I go to Render Image, Blender renders this exact view as a rasterized image, which I can then save by going to Image, Save As. Apart from rendering a single image, there is also the Render Animation option. If you have created an animation, you can render the sequence as a full animation. Creating a short animation. Let us create a short animation with our chain objects. Press N to open the side panel. Under View, enable Camera to View. Now roll the mouse wheel to zoom out. Hold Shift plus middle mouse to adjust the camera so that the entire chain is visible. Disable Camera to View, then press numpad 7 to switch to the top view. In the right panel, change from View to Item tab.
In the timeline, see that you are in frame 1.
Select the first chain, press I. Select the second, press I. Continue the same for all the chains. Now all objects have their initial position keyframed at frame 1. Move the timeline to frame 30.
Select the first chain object. Its position is already in 0, so this requires no action. Select the second chain object. Press Alt plus G to reset its position to 0, 0, 0. Then press I to add keyframe. You can see the values turns yellow from green. The chain object moves to center. Select third chain object. Press Alt plus G. It moves to center. Then press I. Select fourth chain object. Press Alt plus G. It moves to origin point. And then press I. Select fifth chain object. Press Alt plus G, and then press I. And finally, sixth chain object. Press Alt plus G, and then press I. Now, scrub the timeline from 30 to 1 to see animation.
Press numpad 0 to come into camera view.
If you now rewind the timeline and press play, you will see each chain moving toward the center. Finally, set the end frame in the timeline to 30. Now when you go to Render, Render Animation, Blender will render all 30 frames of the short animation. Additional render options. Render audio, used only if your animation contains audio, not applicable here. View Render, displays the last rendered image. View Animation, plays back the last rendered animation. Lock Interface. When enabled, Blender will not update the 3D viewport during rendering. This reduces system resource usage, making rendering faster on weaker systems. Step 7. Window Menu. Now let us look at the Window menu. New Window creates a duplicate of the current window. If you have multiple monitors, you can drag this new window to another screen. For example, one monitor can show the top view and the second can show the side view. New Main Window opens a completely new instance of the main Blender window. Next Workspace or Previous Workspace, you can cycle through different workspaces using Control plus Page Down and Control plus Page Up. We will explore Workspaces in the next session. Show Status Bar toggles the status bar at the bottom of the Blender interface. This bar displays information such as current frame, navigation options, and version number. Save Screenshot captures a screenshot of the Blender window. Save Screenshot Editor lets you drag a box around a specific area of the editor and save it as an image. Toggle System Console opens or closes the System Console, useful for debugging. Step 8. Help Menu. Under Help, you will find Manual, Blender's official documentation, release notes, details about the current version, tutorials, learning resources, support or user community, links to the Blender community, report a bug to report issues, save system info, exports your system configuration for troubleshooting. Saving your file. Finally, to save this project, go to File, Save As, choose a drive, for example, F, create a folder named yourname_Blender Learning. Inside it, create another folder called Chapter 1. Name the file 01chainanimation.blend and save it.
With this, we have completed the top menu bar in Blender. In the next session, we will begin exploring Workspaces.